Good afternoon, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my contemplative time has been very much about grief recovery, of course, is the work that I focus on, and about the concept of forgiveness. And grief recovery as a process does definitely includes this idea of forgiveness. So today I thought I'd share just a few of my thoughts and some great quotations to help you reflect on this idea too. The first one is by T.D. Jakes, and this quotation says, I think the first step is to understand that forgiveness does not exonerate the perpetrator. Forgiveness liberates the victim. It's a gift you give yourself. So very important to remember this idea. Again, it does not exonerate the perpetrator. So I suspect that we've all been through some things that it's very clear that someone has done something that has hurt us, right? So whether consciously or not consciously, they've said something, they've shared something, they've behaved in a particular way that was not so easy for ourselves. And we get to a place, hopefully, where we think, I should forgive that person, right? So that oftentimes to clear the air, sometimes it comes from a space really deep within where we think, wow, I really understand them. And this is the thing that I wanted to talk about today is that there is a difference in these two energies. The one thing is almost like a responsibility or kind of an ease for ourselves even of I forgive them. Yes, mistakes happen or people could do this or I really want to get over this, so I'm just going to forgive them or I'm going to tell them I forgive them, and that sort of idea. So a lot of people do this to verbally say the words that they know another person might want to hear, and they move on with life. And yet, it's often not that deep forgiveness. Now, when we do the work in grief recovery, there is a deep forgiveness. And that deep forgiveness is not because I guide people to do that, it's because it is the process. And when we're truly interested in healing from grief, and grief, of course, is again any conflicting emotions that are happening. So some people would call it stress, some people might call it anxiety, but same energy that something needs to be finished or resolved or completed. And so grief recovery does this. And so this idea of forgiveness comes up, and it's often this spot that a lot of people get caught in. So they're not ready to forgive something because something really not great has happened, like something that has been really, really painful to an individual has happened, and they remember it and they will replay it and explain it and justify their own feelings of whether it's anger, frustration, or hurt, all of those things. And yet, there is this breakthrough time that often happens for patients, which and clients and people when they are ready to truly understand. And it's interesting, I went through this process myself, and I can tell you that I really was trying to understand a situation that had affected me. And in that understanding space or intention to understand, I can tell you that I had one of the most beautiful and most profound, I'm going to call it a mystical experience through a meditation. And in that time, I was reminded, or actually not even reminded, I got such an awareness of none of my doing, by the way, except for the intention to understand, where suddenly I was filled, flooded with compassion for the other person. And it was so incredible because there's no one that needed to tell me anything. There's no one that was writing something out to me. There was nothing that I could have even imagined hearing or understanding. But in a moment, I did. And it was such a wonderful experience that, of course, I feel that my work in grief recovery and my intention with meditation definitely helped me have that experience, which was fantastic. And it hasn't been forgotten. And I certainly like to work from there. Now, when I look at my clients today, I see this particular space, and I think this also happens for most people, is when we do such profound understanding, we suddenly understand ourselves too. And often the person that people find least easy to forgive is themselves. So let's say we didn't understand something in the past and suddenly we see it in a new light. To forgive the self of not understanding at a time that it was not capable of understanding, where the mind or the intellect is not capable of understanding, is a big, big step to take. So I came across this quotation by Bruce Lee, and he said, "Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them." Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. And so interesting, right? Because this is the thing, is that we suddenly realize our shared humanity of someone can do something not so kind to me, and I can do something not so kind to another. And of course, it's a matter of perspective of how something is seen. From our own perspective, many of us really work from a space of kindness, and we can trust that that similar space is in everyone. Yet, when we have learned to forgive, we do need to come back and forgive ourselves too, because we can only know what we are ready to receive or understand or fully appreciate at the right time, right? So in that time does come, but that is the one that I notice that more people get caught up in. I find that people can even get to a space of, yeah, I forgive that person for doing this. And again, sometimes that's superficial forgiveness. Sometimes it's that deep forgiveness. And soon after that is that space of forgiving the self. So I also wanted to end today with I'll say it's a quotation because someone has posted it, but it was actually just an image. And I want to share the words from this with you because I find them very meaningful and profound. So it says, "Forgive. Forgive who did not know how to love you. They taught you self-love. Forgive who did not know how to treat you as you deserve. They showed you self-care. Forgive who did not believe in your dreams. They pushed you to go forward and self-motivate. Forgive who did not know how to support you. They helped you self-empower. Forgive and make room in your soul to be the best version of yourself." And I love that. And this is the thing, is we all know that, one door closes, another opens. We know this idea, but really it's such a blessing from people that we learn from, that we may forgive. We might notice that they have done something that really did hurt us. But if we truly look, it's kind of what we needed to move to the next step in our own lives. And this is what I find I see so many people enjoying this awareness, which is a profound awareness to come to recognize that people who are not necessarily looking like they're helping us, from a divine level, they really are. So I hope that you can reflect on that today. See if there's one person that you can forgive for one thing, and recognize how it empowered you in a way that you couldn't have done otherwise. I wish you that reflective time for the next 5 minutes after this video, and I hope you have a fabulous day ahead. And I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.